Hi class, I wanted to take just a few minutes to record a video to discuss modules 8 and 9, the writing assignment that is a part of those modules more specifically. So I'm going to go into module 8 and you've got the two reading quizzes, or the one reading quiz, sorry, this is just chapter 28, so the one reading quiz and then your writing assignment. So if you look here, I kind of have a blurb about what the expectation is and I have some files and some links. So let's talk through that. Chapter 28 covers a lot of information. So it's looking at basically kind of all things post-World War II. So you've got demobilization, you've got the beginning of the Cold War, you have Eisenhower's administration, the cultural changes that take place with the TV becoming a part of everybody's home, and rock and roll and Hollywood becoming kind of a big business. And then you even start to look at the beginnings of the civil rights movement in the chapter. So it's just a ton of information. So I wanted to do something that was comprehensive, but not a ton of work because covering all those topics is quite involved. So I'm going to have you do a template, an outline template basically for an essay. So you're not writing the essay. Please do not submit the essay. If you submit the essay, you did not do the assignment, and I'm going to ask you to resubmit. So you are not writing an essay, you're doing the outline for an essay, and I'm giving you a template that I want you to complete. So we'll look at that in just a second. Your question for the essay topic or the outline topic is, what were the major political, economic, and societal changes in American culture in the 1950s? So I have it set up here to do a really nice 5-paragraph essay, a paragraph on political, a paragraph on economic, and a paragraph on societal. So there are two approaches to structuring that type of an essay. You want to order your thesis in the same way that you're going to order your body paragraphs. So if you feel like your strongest argument is going to be societal changes, you'll save it for last. If your strongest argument is going to be political changes, you'll save that for last. So my preference and the way that I've always been taught and kind of taught it myself is to structure your thesis from your weakest to your strongest argument so that you're building throughout your essay and you end on a really strong note. So if I feel like, okay, my weakest is economic, my next strongest is political, and then my strongest argument is societal, I would say the economic, political, and societal changes that took place in American culture in the 1950s, that's how I would structure my thesis. So I want you to think about that as you are planning your essay. I have it kind of filled in on the template, but you don't have to do it in that order. I want you to order it in the best way that makes sense for you. So before we look at the template, I just wanted to make sure that we said that. So let me open the template for you. And I also have an example that we'll look at. These are just the Google Doc links, and so if you don't have Word or this is too hard for you to kind of navigate, then I've tried to just do a Google link that you have to copy. Hopefully it is working. I'll double check and make sure because sometimes the settings get kind of funky, but anyway, you're gonna make a copy and then you'll have access to the template, but they're the exact same documents whether you choose the Word version or the Google Doc version. So this is the template. My computer's running a little bit slow today. It's about to open the Word version. So you're going to include an MLA heading. That's your name, the date, all that jazz that you put on the top of every paper. So I just close this out. You're going to have a thesis. So you're going to actually come in here. This is really taking a long time to think. Come in here, delete all of this information out, and write your thesis in there. So it's a response to the question. So that's your thesis, is your response to the question. So the most significant changes in the 1950s were, and then you're going to list your 3 that you pick. One's going to be focused on politics, one's going to be focused on economics, and one's going to be focused on social changes. But again, you do not have to approach it in this order. I want you to build your argument throughout your paper so that this 3rd point is your strongest, and strongest by the evidence and the analysis. So the point that you feel like you drive home the best. All right, so you're going to open the template, you're going to replace this with your MLA heading, you're going to delete these brackets, and you're going to write your thesis. And then here, point 1 is your first main idea, your first claim. So the most significant political change in America in the 1950s was whatever you think it is. And then you're going to add in your evidence with an in-text citation. So MLA format, in-text citation. Then you've got an opportunity to provide 2 sentences of analysis. So the analysis is basically explaining how your evidence proves your point. So this is your critical thinking about the evidence and the topic. So this is original information. This should not be cited. These are your thoughts. So this is really forcing that critical thinking that some students have a hard time kind of finding where to put it in or to get to it. Then you're going to introduce a second piece of evidence to support this point and have 2 more pieces of analysis to support it. All right, and then you'll move on to your second point. You'll delete this and you'll say, you know, the most significant economic change of the 1950s in America was whatever, or whatever your second point is. And then you're going to add in your evidence with an MLA citation, your critical thinking through your analysis, more evidence with a citation, and more analysis. So again, that analysis is you explaining how that evidence proves your point. It's your critical thinking, your argument that you're building. And you're going to do that for each point. There's no introduction, all that kind of just fluff where you're introducing the topic, providing background, blah, blah. I don't need it. I need the thesis. There's no conclusion because that's just restating your argument, and you've laid it out here for me, so I don't need it. I need an MLA heading, a thesis, 3 points of a main idea, evidence, and analysis, and a works cited page that has your works cited entries for each source that you use for your in-text, your evidence with your in-text citations. So that's all that you're submitting. You're basically writing the essay without writing all the transition sentences and the kind of the stuff that just makes it pretty and sound nice. So that is what you're doing for Module 8. And then for Module 9, you're doing something very similar. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on this and go over that with you really quickly. It's exactly the same. The templates are exactly the same. But you get to choose a topic. This is chapters 29 and 30, and it looks at JFK, Lyndon B. Johnson, and then the Civil Rights Movement. So I've got 3 questions. You can choose what you want to focus on. Evaluate JFK's presidency. Was JFK an effective president or a nostalgic hero? Evaluate LBJ's presidency. Was the Great Society a success or failure? And then what is the most effective method for changing society? Voting, challenges in the courts, nonviolent civil disobedience, or violence? What evidence can you provide from the actual events of the 1960s to support your argument? Again, you're not writing the essay. You are only planning and researching, filling out the template. You are going to consult primary sources and secondary sources, and there should be, in additional resources, the primary sources are here. So you can use any of that information as your primary sources. So that is built in for you. So I'll update that assignment description to say to look in the additional resources for each chapter for the primary sources. And then scholarly secondary sources can be found online from the library. This is not history.org or whatever, or history.com or like study.com. These are actual, scholarly sources. And if you need help with that, please let me know. All right, I think that's all that I need to say. If you have any questions, please email me. Module 10 is a discussion board post, so this is going to be kind of your more essay-focused assignments to modules 8 and 9. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks so much. Bye.